Who's my next? Are there any aspects of the plant-based diet that can cause acidity? Of course, because the thing is we don't want to eat just an alkaline diet. It's impossible. And our body is changing all of the time. Our body will do anything to maintain proper pH balance, including mining the minerals and doing what it needs to stay in the proper pH, which is around 7.365, 7.4. But for proper nutrition, we have to eat things that are slightly acidic. What we don't want to do is eat things that are highly acidic on a regular basis. So foods that are slightly acidic, sorry if I'm loud, you can, it's loud, but I'm trying to get over that, are grains, some grains, things like beans, legumes, things like that. Sometimes the soy products can be slightly acidic or mucogenic, right? But we actually really need that nutrition. It's not about black or white. There are shades of gray. The highly acidic foods are the foods that really tax the body. They create uric acid that, stress out the kidneys, things like that. Stress out the adrenal glands, flood your body with cortisol. Those are the things that we want to really damp down as we increase the other things. And I know if you start to get into pH and you start to look at this, really don't get crazy because everybody out there contradicts each other. So when I was doing the research for this book, it was amazing to not be able to find people who agreed on what was acidic and what was alkaline. So what I did was sort of say, again, shades of gray, these are the things that are really tough on the body. These are the things that are great on the body. Here's the middle, right? Things that are slightly acidic or only slightly alkaline, those are great. We're just trying to get away from the things that really drain our bank accounts. Does that make sense? A great question. And the other day somebody asked me that and they said, do you ever fall off? And I said, there's one thing better than a French fry. She said, what? I said, a second French fry. That's what it is. But the truth of the matter is there's certain things that I don't mess around with. So I don't mess around with things like dairy, I don't mess around with flesh, and I don't mess around with processed foods, the white stuff, because what's that going to do? Who knows what the white stuff does? Yes? Causes inflammation, it spikes your blood sugar, it releases excess insulin, and then you have IGF growth factor 1, a lot of things. It's like a cascade. So there's certain things that I stay away from. But I think what I'm trying to do is educate you about how you can drive on the healthy highway, how you can be more consistent. You can make detours, as I say oftentimes. You got to dance on tables in Spain. You need to go out with your friends who, might necessarily take you someplace where you can't get the perfect diet, like Pure Food and Wine or Candle 79 or here, right? It's not about rigidity. It really is about saying, am I juicing? Am I drinking enough water? What are the foods that I'm filling my body with? Am I having my greens? Am I having my vegetables? How many times am I eating animal products? I'm sure many of you in this room are not vegan. Is that true? You don't have to sit, just kind of look at me. I don't want to say that. Right? Most of you probably aren't. But the good news is that if you can reduce, if you can keep your animal consumption to like 2 to 3 times per week, if you're not ready to go there all the way, then you're doing your body such a great service. You really are. And obviously choosing from better sources is key. Not just for the compassionate reasons, which you know about if you practice yoga here. You know about them. If you're watching the movies, if you're seeing it, if you're seeing Food Inc. and all these great films, you know what's going on. It's not just about that. Although that's huge. What are these animals being fed in factory farms? How are they being treated? What are they being fed? They're being fed food that is not normal to their diet. Oftentimes they're being fed their brothers and sisters. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So their own flesh, and the flesh of chickens. And they're not being fed grass. And they're being fed antibiotics, hormones, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, suicides, a slew of problems with your own hormone structure. Right? So that's what I look at. I look at both. I didn't come to this as a woman who was interested in compassion. First, though, I heard it here, and I love my dog, and I love my cat. But when I opened the door and saw what it could do for my own body, and then I started to educate myself, I was like, wow, it is connected. It's like what they say. Wow, I get it now. And cancer made me get it. And still makes me get it every single day. Right? So I still live with cancer. It's been 8 years now. I have a very stable disease. I'm very lucky. We live peacefully together. My green juice probably helps that. And it allows me to spread this glorious message because my passion is prevention. I love helping cancer patients. I love helping people with diabetes, heart disease, obesity, you name it, and we do. But I really, really want to help people stay well so that you don't have to walk into an oncologist's office one day and say, I have some bad news for you. You have cancer. That's not something you want to hear. And if you do hear it, find me. Anybody else? Yeah. I think that the chapters leading up to the 21 days, by the time you get to chapter 10, you're like, wow, I feel nice, I feel good, I can do no wrong, right? And then as I said, on the different days, each day I give you a focus. And some of that will be asking you to do a lot of journaling, giving you homework assignments, tapping into forgiveness, teaching some basic stuff about affirmations and things that you can do to start to shift this. We're rewiring this. It's not hard. We just have to practice at it, just like meditation. There's great resources in the back of the book. Some of my deepest fears that weren't cancer, believe it or not, they were public speaking. And I started to tap. And we have the tapping solution, this whole gang, these experts over here, tappingsolutiontofilm.com. I mean, they are the EFT like hub, conduits of who's doing it out there. It was fun to put together. It really was. It was a great labor of love. And I wanted it to speak to a larger audience, as I said. Yeah. Basically, what do I think about soy, in just the gist of it? You know, I was pretty conservative about soy because so many of the people who follow me came to me because they originally had cancer. And I think that every day there's a new study out saying soy is the best miracle, and then the next day it says, soy is dangerous, right? So who am I to decide what soy should be, right? But here's what I do know. Soy can create a lot of mucus in the body, and can create allergies in the body. So therefore it can create what? Inflammation. Good students! So therefore it can create inflammation in the body. So what I like to do is just minimize it. It's a great source of protein, and certainly as you're transitioning to more of a plant-based diet, it's good to have tempeh and tofu and all, you know, the soy burgers and all the stuff that's out there now. It's unbelievable. But you don't want to go crazy with it. Soy is really supposed to be in condiment portions. So if you look at a Japanese diet, they have not supersized soy. Little tiny pieces in miso. So I'm a little more conservative and I keep my eye on my soy consumption. I don't overdo it. I'd rather have a kale salad than a big soy plate. Does that make sense? And then you, of course, see how you feel.